I'm hunting today. I'm hunting pillboxes. Yeah. So welcome to Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Nick here. Well, we're out on a tab. We're going to look at a new piece of kit without falling into the canal, hopefully. Whew, that's a schlep through there. So we're going to do the video for today, and I'm also going to upload a review video on a new piece of gear, which I have to admit I didn't buy. It was actually sent to me. Now I've got to use my brains. I'm looking for something I found last year, and it's taken a bit of hunting down, but should have marked on the map really. Part of me is actually wondering if it's back down there, because I'm sort of convinced it was along there. Let's have a look, because it was something I didn't see going one way. I only saw it going one direction. So I climbed this bank here, got my trusty stick with me, just my third leg, which I'm rather glad of. Oh, interesting, very interesting. But tucked away here, we found this. Okay, built into this natural rise, there's a valley down there, and there's a low point here and a low point on the other side of the canal. So it was a gap in the cut down there where you could have come in. You could have come in with armour here, built a temporary bridge, crossed and driven out the other side, rather than going up and down a 30-foot high embankment, which would have been, as you can imagine, a bit of a swine with armour. So to defend these positions, they built pillboxes. It's a lovely pillbox with a very large opening, and because this is out the way and it is tucked well out the way, hopefully it hasn't been trashed. So the bit of kit I'm going to be using today has been sent to me by a company called Trustfire to try out, and this is the Trustfire MT15. There will be a link on the description to these. Now this is a nice affordable head torch, and it's definitely a step up above a lot of the other head torches I've seen in the fact that it is a simple, reliable operation, has 4 power modes, has a button there, I'll turn it the other way around, button there, tap it once, comes up green, that means I've got plenty of power. Okay, push and hold for 2 seconds, switches it on. First mode being a moonlight mode, which is a low power mode, ideal for in and around your camp, making your brews and so forth, and gives you an immense run time. Second level will give you something that you can walk by. Third level will give you something that you can probably ride a push bike or a motorbike by. And the fourth level is an absolute stonker because it's 1,000 lumens. However, realistically, are you going to use 1,000 lumens? Nah, I don't think so. Nice anodized aluminium construction. It is waterproof, it is drop proof to a meter, and it charges off a USB-C. So let's get exploring. Set it up on the second setting, set it up where I want it. So as you can see here, this is the entrance to the pillbox, which would have been a very low door there, protected by a blast wall, which is here. Okay, don't know if that blast wall would have come all the way along. There's a point here, you can see the original flaps that would have defended it. And again, creates a trench around it. Steps here. There's another point there, another firing point there. I don't think that mud bank would have been there. I think you'd have probably been able to fire out through multiple positions from this pillbox. Wall is about 4 foot thick, so I need to make sure I'm not going to fall down any holes. Sure I'm not going to disturb anything. I'll go have a little look around. So, there's a firing port there, which you've done for a rifle. And what I'm looking for, just to make sure, now that, this would have probably been a sentry point. So, what we have here would have probably been a chimney. Okay? Have a large desk and open here. So this would have been an OP point. And it would have been defendable, but it would have been set up, I reckon, as an OP, because you've got a large tabled area here, which you could probably put an anti-tank weapon on. Might even be for that, for a pier or something like that. Yeah, let's have a careful look. So I have this head torch at the moment on its second setting. I can see across the canal from there, and I can see down across the valley from there. So the good news is, let's turn that. Wow, that's bright. Turn that off. So the good news is, no wildlife in here. And I say that's good news because if I want to come back and use it for a camp, and it's quite a clean one, this, I can, without worrying about disturbing any bats or other wildlife. Brilliant. I'll have to do my research into types of pillbox, because I've got to ask myself, was that one set up as a command point? Now, if it was, how far to the next one? Yeah, we got here, got a primrose. Okay, so see the flowers in the primrose? That flower's fallen, it's dropped. I'm going to have that one. That one's just for my lunch. Nice, very sweet. Don't turn down a primrose when you get a chance. Back on with the kit and off we slip. I'll bring you back when I find something interesting. And so that was definitely an OP point, the way it was designed. It's dug right into the hillside in the cut up here, and as you can see on this area here, it's all pretty much level. So this is a breaching point. This is where you could have put a bridge in and forded the canal. So that I think was an OP point. Dug in, they could retreat to there. It was defendable, but the way it was concealed, yeah, I think it was more as like an OP or a watch point. Nice pillbox in nice condition. Might come back to that one to do an overnight camp with Mac. Because again, it's trying to find good ones is difficult these days, that aren't vandalised, aren't full of horrible things, and are in good order. Dry. That was the other thing. So, you see, Canal Authority been hard at work up here, clearing the opposite bank, And in the distance you can hear a Chinook from RAF Odium. Stay safe, lads. Right. And again, you can see within 50 to 100 metres there's a big drop off here on this side of the canal, which you wouldn't have been able to get armour up and across. So yeah, that was definitely just that small stretch of about 25-30 metres up there would have been a likely fording point. And onward with my walk. And as I'm walking along here, you can see spring's on its way. Plants are starting to come through. I've got my eyes open for any wild garlic. We do like a bit of ransoms, but again, I wouldn't want to eat off the towpath. I'd forage further into the wilds, purely simply because lots of people walk their dogs here. So the last thing you want is a handful of wee. And catkins are out. So catkins seed and flower for the hazel or hazel tree. All parts of the hazel tree are edible. Catkins are as bitter as hell, however can be steeped to make a tea. So apparently it's very, very good for you, full of antioxidants, full of vitamins. So again, just a walk down the towpath, I've got nettles, primroses, I've got catkins, so I've got a tea, I've got some vegetables. Yeah, it's all wild edibles. It's all stuff you can find, and there's any number of other plants there. If I had the energy and the time to sit back, no worries, and have a look. Just had a bimble along, looked to my right, see a little flash of red, knew what that was straight away. There's loads of them in here, all growing on this rotten wood, so I can get one off without damaging it. Bit of a swine to clean. Oh, here comes the Chinook. There were some bloody planes around here. So we've got a scarlet elf cup. Okay, it is edible. This is a wild edible. Okay, it's quite a firm wild mushroom. Okay, you won't confuse it for a lot else, purely and simply by that colouring. Okay, so from the wild, flavour. It's a mushroom, toadstool. Now pick up the flavour of the woods it's on. So it is, you got that woody taste to it, that mushroomy firmness, and it is a firm mushroom. Okay, I might collect up a couple of those on the way back just to have for my breakfast tomorrow and an omelette. Okay, so scarlet elf cups, keep your eyes open. So during the Second World War, on the other side of the canal from me here, there was a big estate, a big house. It must have been used, yeah, the MOD obviously had it, because as I'm walking down here, and bear in mind it's their estate on the opposite side of the canal to me, I've just spotted in the distance up through there 2 rows of basic anti-armour defences, and down there a bridge. Now that bridge I have covered before, and it's got armour protection or anti-armour around it. These large concrete cylinders were basically put in place for all sorts of usage, whether it was as a tank stopper or vehicle stopper. Oh, let me just get round that muddy puddle. Whether it be for a vehicle stopper, or in some cases they would actually anchor barrage balloons to them, use them as an anchor point for the barrage balloons. So they basically could put up a barrage balloon and connect anchor point cables to it. Now the idea of the cables, the balloon didn't damage the aircraft, but the wire cables connected to it did. So if they were then anchored back to concrete blocks and not the winch would be set in free run, so that didn't get damaged, it could be reused. But the concrete blocks, whoa, must have weighed a couple of tons, so the aircraft were flying to it. And bear in mind, a lot of aircraft those days, lightweight aluminium skins and canvases and things like that, the steel wire would tear through the wing or the fuselage of the aircraft, bringing it down. And if it hits it with enough force to dislodge and move one of these, wasn't too much of a problem. Whereas if the cable was connected to the winch, yeah, you then got to replace the winch. A lot more equipment you've got to dig out, find, unearth and repair, which makes life a bit of a misery. So yeah, we'll carry on with the bimble. So, time for pointy stick. Officer Mick speaking. I say, chaps, on the other side of the canal, just over here, just above my stick, you can see water running into the canal. Now we have a lot of springs around here, so that could be a natural spring, okay, running off of the fields. It could be a French drain that was put in donkeys years ago to relieve the pressure on the ground over there. However, looking at how forested that is, I don't think so. I think it's more likely to be a natural spring. Now, I showed you across the canal those defences earlier on, and they run all the way up here to here, okay, across the canal, through the tree line this side. Now, on the opposite side of that is a little bridge. That bridge is long gone, but obviously at some point it was probably an entrance to the estate over there. And as I say, I've got a funny feeling, looking at what's set up around here, that estate may have been commandeered by the military during the Second World War. Bridge is protected by a pillbox in here, and I have been in that pillbox in the past. However, it's extremely damp, extremely muddy, and it's not worth the struggle to get into. It is a bit of a stinker, that one, unfortunately. And I didn't find anything in there last time because it was just so damp, the roof leaks, so overgrown. So if we come up here, you see where the bridge would have gone across there. There's a pillar here, and you can see the huge eyes on the top. That's about 1 inch steel, okay, and anchored to this huge concrete block. Could have been craned into position, I suppose. And there is a linear feature running off the bridge out that way through this woods, and also looking at the trees, the size and the age of the trees as they come off of that feature gives me an idea that probably up until 50 years ago that bridge was probably still in use, but I don't think it was ever a tarmac road, so it's probably been an old local lane, shall we say, or again may have just been a way for the estate to access that side of the canal to this side of the canal, and over the years it's fallen away. Again, you can see on the other side of the canal there, we've got what looks like another spring coming out of the bank there, supplying water into the canal. So if I was in a water collection situation, in desperation, that's where I'd collect it from that spring, and then I'd obviously filter it, boil it to purify it, and go with that. Probably do the job for me. Lovely bit of woods here. It's a lot of hazel, which leads me to think that, looking at it, it's very dense hazel. This estate would have probably coppiced and harvested the hazel locally for pretty much everything. Well, it might have been charcoal, it might have been used for making hurdles in construction, masses and masses. It's a proper hazel coppice. Absolutely wonderful to see. Great environment. As for the preppers amongst you and the bug out boys, good hazel coppice, yeah, you want that. Yeah, lots of resources. Start making your own charcoal. If you make charcoal in a SHTF situation, let's put that out. In an SHTF situation, if you're surviving in the wild, if you have the ability to make charcoal, you'd make it, because it gives you a good fuel source. But it's very hot, doesn't make smoke. So again, if you're bugged out, yeah, charcoal, way to go. And if you've got enough of it on your doorstep, start producing your own. No reason why not. These skills have been used for thousands of years by our ancestors. And if you lose the ability to have today's supply chain and resources, go back to what your great-great-grandparents used. It's all out there. I have another pillbox there. Again, it's not the one I'm looking for, but you can see how it enfilades the canal, and a lot of these pillboxes will interlink. I've probably missed 2 or 3 that have been buried and lost to time. We'll keep bibbling, see what we can find. Keep pushing on. Just another one for you guys. I'm walking down here and you can see the conservationists have been in conserving, and they've been clearing the hazel back from the towpath, which is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. However, technique. It's fine having volunteers doing this sort of thing, but somebody's got to come along and show them the right way, because they have made a bit of a mess of it. Now, if you're cutting hazel or any tree, stakes or staves off of it, okay, in an ideal world you want to cut it like that, okay, so water runs off of it, it sheds, okay. It means that the water isn't going to get into the grain. If you cut it like that, what will happen is the water gets into the grain and it rots the stump out. And that stump's probably been there several hundred years, probably been harvested for generations. If you look at a good hazel stump, it will tell you its story, really. You take a stump like this, you can see by the diameter of each piece when it was last coppiced, when it was last taken. And you can see what I mean here about if you don't cut it correctly, it rots, water gets in there, as in there, as in there. Water gets into it, rots the stump, and eventually kills the stump off. If it's cut properly, it will be there in another 200 or 300 years. It's just a shame, really. Yeah, I'm trying to find one that somebody's known. Yeah, this person seems to have had a good idea of what they were doing. You can see how they've cut it. They've cut it at a sloping angle so the water sheds and doesn't sit on it. Yeah, kudos to them. Kudos. I don't know if you can see that, guys. But again, just something else for you to be aware of. You know, moving just across the field there, moving around the field. Okay, so he's spraying. This time of year he's probably spraying off the field to kill what's out there, ready for planting. Or he might be putting some sort of pesticide down. Or he might be just putting some sort of fertiliser down. You don't know. Okay, so would I forage along this stretch knowing it's an arable field there? No, I wouldn't. Again, because you don't know what the farmer's put down on the ground. Okay, you do not want to be ingesting anything that, in theory, shouldn't be harmful to you or wildlife. However, you just don't know, do you? Okay, you just don't know. Unfortunately, guys, as I was expecting, trashed. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's full of beer cans and people's crap that they've taken in there. And of course, if you can't see it, you don't have to take it home, do you? The other thing with that one is very damp, full of mosquitoes. Yeah, 10 degrees today, so temperature's just come up a little bit. Yesterday was bitterly cold. So the temperature's come up just a little bit. It's a bit murderous. And I nearly forgot my stick. Nearly walked off without my stick. Bugger. If I do that, let's go get my stick. So as you see, modified the dress a little bit. Temperature's coming up. And with that temperature coming up, cloud cover is starting to become a bit more dense, starting to pick up a bit of mist, possibly going to pick up a bit of rain in a bit, but it's cool enough for me to start shedding clothing. Last thing you want to do on a walk like this, don't start sweating, not good for you, because when you stop you'll get a chill. And I will be stopping in a bit and having a brew, so yeah, let's push on. So now we come to a location called Blacksmith's Bridge. So it's one of the many bridges across the canal. As you can see, it's an old bridge, but you can see part of the old Second World War defences there. So these concrete blocks are sunk into the ground, and as you can see, what they would do is they would put steel or iron posts in these if they had to close off the bridge. So basically they would be kept somewhere nearby, and in the event of the invasion and they wanted to deny this route to the enemy, these would go in. I've also been informed by an old boy last time I was down here. I was also informed by an old boy, and I don't know how true it is, that lived here as a nipper during the Second World War, that some of those actually contained explosive charges, and so that the theory was that they were buried in the ground and could be detonated if a vehicle went over it, directing the blast vertically. Basically an IED. Yeah, I don't know how true that is, so I'd have to do more research into it. To my left is a pond, Tundry Pond, so I should just keep on with the walk, see where it takes us. So I've now found quite an interesting pillbox here, which is right on the edge of the towpath, and it's low. It's very low to the towpath. Now when I come down last year, all this was overgrown and you could not see it properly and couldn't even gain access to it. But what I've managed to do, now they've cleared it, as you can see, this is the back edge. Now that wall is probably a good 15-20 feet, okay? Comes down into the ground here. The entrance is down behind it. The actual front wall is only a few feet above the canal. It's a very, very low point of firing. So let's go inside and have a look. I'm not going to put the head torch on my head. Let's fire that up. The head torch is, so it's a very low entrance. Okay, very narrow, and it has stairs in it. So put the head torch on. It's stairs in it. You see, the stairs rise up. No sign of any bats or protected species that I don't want to disturb. So look at my feet. Okay. First firing point, which is over that back wall, and that has quite a commanding field of view. And could be used to defend the entrance as well, very easily. Got a couple more steps. come into the pillbox. It's quite a clean one, this. Lots of mozzies though. Snail heaven. That's where they've spent the winter. I don't blame them. So the firing points are actually waist height. It's concrete floor, it's not built up. So you have to kneel down. But that gives you an idea. You're literally just off the towpath. It's quite a sheltered pillbox. There's 3 firing points, both looking out towards the canal. One looking up, one looking down, and one looking straight across. And the one looking straight across has an excellent field of view fire for about a good, say, 1,000 metres. And there we go. And you have the blast wall here. So if something came in from this hole here, it's captured here. The same the other way, if it come in from there, it'd be captured there. And this guy, well, he's just unlucky. So there we go. You see, it's dry in here. Just goes as testament to how well constructed these were. And again, you have the cutout back there, which was designed to capture ricochets. So if a round came through the wall here, hit this, the round would explode, or the bullet would explode. Small fragments of the bullet would fly off and they would get captured by the little walls there rather than pinging around inside here. So we'll step down very carefully. Fantastic. There's a foot of concrete there. That's it in here. And the wall here is it's a good 2 feet thick. So it's not the heaviest built pillbox I've ever come across, but again it is one of the most interesting. I'll get us a shot from the top. It's a bit of a scramble getting out of here, unfortunately, but again, in making it a scramble, that's stopping the lunatics and the vandals from getting in there. And this is all brambles, so I've got to go so careful. I want to end up flat on the face. So, what you actually see of the pillbox from the top is that, again, how low they are. So, that could be easily camouflaged, and it's pointing in this direction. So yeah, interesting, very interesting. Right, let's push on, get on with my walk. So, it's another quick one for you. So when I did the jungle video, a couple of guys said to me, poor plant. Well, rhododendron is an invasive species, and if left unchecked, it does that. It really blocks out everything. No use to anything, nothing can eat it. It makes a good nesting environment for the birds. Above that, does nothing else at all, doesn't belong here. There's another species here have adapted to deal with it. And what it will do is it will block out massive swathes of woodland, absolutely choking out the light to the ground and starving the plants of light, so it can take over and steal all the nutrients. Okay, so again, if you've got a rhododendron, keep it under control. It can be a bit of a bugger of a plant, and when it's left to just go mad like that, yeah, it's a bit of a swine. Be careful. I've got the old gasifier going. The old gasifier stove's doing its thing. There we go. On pellet. And as you see on pellet, it's a nice clean burn, no smoke. Does its job. It's a little bit slower than using twigs, but I'm not in any rush, not in any panic. We're going to be losing light in another hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's going to be a steady wander back, yeah, and see how this goes. And hopefully I've got all the footage I want. Yeah. So, gasifier's just done its thing. There we go. It's doing quite nicely. Happy, made a copy. Just discovered that the camera was set to time warp. Bugger, I wonder how much footage I've lost today. How many times have I been sitting here talking to the camera and it's on time warp? I won't know till I get home. Bugger. Not having a good day. Hopefully it's all coming out alright, but we'll see when I get home. Yeah. So, there we go. Had a brute. Got to my turnaround point. The goal I set myself today, not quite made it. For some reason I can't find that bloody pillbox with the bat in it. But we will make our way back now. Left it a bit late, it's going to be dark by the time we get back. Got a head torch with me, got all the gear with me, not going to be an issue. So join me on the walk, please enjoy. Oh, enjoy. It's an absolutely stunning little dog there. Absolutely stunning. Oh, and a squirrel. You're a gutsy squirrel, aren't you? Are you coming to see what we got? Hello, doggies. So, 3 dogs, local squirrel. Basically, I think that squirrel's hard as anything. He didn't care. Here he comes. I nearly got run over by a squirrel. For a second, I thought he was going to have me. Enough to make me jump. See you later. So, that's it. Got to our turnaround point. Had our brute. Had something to eat. Nice cup of coffee. Got some calories and protein into us. We'll turn around. Now the knack is to walk out till you're exhausted or you're tired enough. Stop. Refresh yourself, sort yourself out, then walk back. But your walk back's going to be slower than your walk out, and you're going to do what you feel your body can manage, no more. If you have to slow down, okay? Go easy on yourself. I can already feel my injury in my leg starting to pull a bit tight, so you just got to take it steady, not push yourself, slow it down and enjoy the walk. That's what it's about. Okie doke. So, I don't know if you can see it, don't know if it's going to work. That's Engineers Bridge. I'm parked over to the right. So, there we go. Let's walk up under the bridge here. See the bridge now. The GoPros aren't very good in the dark, so I've not been using it for probably the last bit of the walk. In fact, for about the last hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know if you can see that there. Hopefully you can. There you go. Let's figure out how to do this. Let's do that. Set that to moonlight mode. Right, I don't know if you can see my face or not. Blimey. There you go, how's that? I don't know if you can see it or not. Now I can't see where I'm bloody walking and I'm on the edge of a towpath. Good move, Mickey. Right, what we'll do, let's get up on the bridge because we're nearly there. yeah, I can see it more than adequately what I need to on a bright mode. In fact, more than adequately. But what I tend to do for most of the walk back, I'll be running it at that mode, which gives me more than enough to see where I'm putting my feet, although the GoPro doesn't really do it justice. Gives me more than enough to see where I'm putting my feet, see where I'm walking, saves the battery life for me. So put it up onto the highest mode, I can see absolutely everything down there perfectly. There, struggled. Right, I'm going to say thank you Trustfire for sending me this, because I did a bloody stupid thing today and ended up, yeah, needing it, and I really needed it. I was walking along a towpath on the edge of a canal. It's not very wide, with no other option to get me back to the car because I stayed out too long. Yeah, Trustfire MT15 got me home safe, got me back to the car safe. I'm now going home to have some dinner. Recommendations for you for these guys: this is an EDC torch, okay? I would carry this as my backup. I will carry this as a brilliant, absolutely brilliant, if you're looking for a very small lightweight head torch. Yeah, we'll do it. Run time's immense, power's good. Yeah, got me back. I'm happy with that. Do excuse me waffling, there's not a lot more I can say. I am absolutely chinners. Okay, and if you want an idea how far I travelled, basically I started off at Rushmore Arena in Aldershot, and I walked to about a mile past, well, not a mile, half a mile past the Barley Mow bridge. Okay, I have no idea until I get home and work it out. 2.5 hours, nearly 3 hours coming back due to the light. That last 45 minutes to an hour really was head down time. It's, yeah, regretted that last 45 minutes to an hour, especially once it got dark and it started to get difficult. It was hard to place my feet at times, even with the head torch being able to see. It's slippery. Yeah, you got the concern of falling in the canal. It was there. That was not fun. Yeah, so would I do it again? No. Do it in daylight. I'm not going to be stupid enough to end up coming back up there in the dark. Guys, this is Mickey. Learn from my mistakes. Think about your timings. Don't overestimate your ability. But I survived. As Benny would say, did I die? No, I didn't. I made it back. Every bit of life is an adventure, guys. Go out, have yours, stay safe, look after yourselves. Yeah. Love those you do, forgive those you don't. Peace and light be upon you all. Till next time, Mickey out.